Facebook, how we doing today? It is 7:58 on this Friday, July 8th. We're a little bit early. I'm Saquon, and I'm here to get you caught up. First, I want to say thanks if you are tuning in live this morning through Facebook Live, or maybe you're just listening on your way to work, or maybe on your way back home from work through the podcast. Either way, thank you so much for joining me, and let's get started with something that happened overnight in the north part of Fargo. Firefighters were called to a house because there was a fire that started in the dryer, which was in the basement. That was along 10th Street North at around midnight. And think about, just a few blocks away from the Dakota Girls and Boys Ranch thrift store, which is on University. So that's kind of near where that house was. So again, this started in the basement. A very small fire started in the dryer there, and it was knocked down very quickly by these Fargo firefighters, thankfully, and only the dryer was damaged. No other parts of the house were damaged, thankfully. We also know that two people who were inside the home, or who live inside that home, were able to get out safely. So no injuries to report for you this morning as well. Really good news. So we will try to get a damage estimate for you, and once we get that, we'll let you know. Okay, also right now, sticking in Fargo police are asking for your help to find a man who they're saying tried to steal from an ATM, and he is suspected of criminal mischief. So if you go on their Facebook page right now, you'll be able to see a picture of what this guy looks like. But according to these officers, we know this man was outside of a bank back on June 15th, and he tried to pry open the ATM. We don't know exactly what bank this all happened at, but if you go on Fargo Police Department's Facebook page, you can see that picture of him, and if you have any information with the guy, then you should call Red River Regional Dispatch. But again, that picture you can find on the Fargo Police Department's Facebook page. They posted that yesterday. Okay, also, if you live in East Grand Forks, this one is primarily going to affect you, some of you at least, because your power and your water might not be working or running for some of the day. Don't worry though, it's all a planned service outage that crews in East Grand Forks have been working on for quite some time, and this whole planned outage should only last about an hour. You can find the map of which areas exactly in East Grand Forks will be affected just by going on our website or the Grand Forks Herald. And these outages are expected to start at around 1:15 this afternoon. So the reason why they're doing this is because some of these crews are going to be doing some maintenance work, and in order for them to make sure that they're doing it safely, they need to shut some of these things off. So planned outage, again, don't freak out if your water or your power is out. It's just all part of a planned service outage today. Also, today in Grand Forks, there's going to be a lengthy closure in the south part of town. So crews are working on a project on Belmont Road, which is just near the Red River, from 47th Avenue South to River's Edge Drive. You might already be, familiar with what project I'm talking about, because these crews have been actually out there working on that for a few weeks now. And they were allowing drivers to use that road again after these crews were done with their workday, but now these crews are saying that they're going to keep it closed until mid-September. Also, tomorrow, heads up, we wanted to let you know, activists across the state of North Dakota, they're going to be taking it to the streets, and they're going to continue protesting the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and then, of course, the trigger law that's in place that could ban abortions or make abortions illegal, and that could happen as soon as July 28th in North Dakota. So ACLU of North Dakota tells us that there's going to be some marches at the state capitol in Bismarck, one even here in Fargo, and then another one in Minot at a downtown Pride event there. So Fargo's rally, that's going to be held at City Hall, and then people will kind of march around the downtown area. That's from 6 to 7:30 tomorrow night, and this is all to kind of raise funds and, of course, protest the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And then, of course, these organizers are also asking people to donate to the ND Win Abortion Access Fund and to the Red River Women's Clinic in Fargo. Okay, we also know today a well-known local singer, motivational speaker, he also was trying to get on Minnesota's Congress, or at least try to get on a seat for it. He is going to be hosting a benefit for Ukraine. We're talking about Minnesota native Mark Lindquist, and he was in Ukraine for quite some time, but he's back for now to kind of raise money when it comes to supplies, medical supplies, everything, shipping fees for overseas. So yeah, if you want to take part in that, you can go to the benefit, which is going to be at Sanctuary Events in Fargo. That starts at 5 tonight with a Q&A, and then at 7, that's when the concert will be. It is free, but of course you can make some donations there as well, and if you do that, all of that money will go to Ukraine. All right, we have an update this morning on this Bemidji man who was arrested for an attempted child abduction that happened last weekend, or at least that attempt happened last weekend. So we're talking about 21-year-old Michael Peterson. He's in the Beltrami County Jail right now on charges of false imprisonment and intentional restraint. So this all happened last Sunday at around 6:30 in the evening at Cameron Park in Bemidji. So 2 9-year-old girls reportedly were approached by this man, again, that's Michael Peterson, who tried to show them a snake in the grass, and the girls tried to walk away, and then Peterson apparently grabbed one of the girls. Now, when a car was passing by, that's when the girl started screaming, and then he quickly, put that girl down and started running away. So he does face a maximum sentence of 3 years, and then a $5,000 fine, or possibly even both. So we will let you know what he's facing and what happens out of this whole situation. Okay, also in Minnesota, you probably know this already, but its new law allows people 21 and older to buy THC products, right? So we now know that it's up to the local governments right now, because the state representative who crafted that bill, was behind that bill, is saying that those local governments can kind of create their own policies, enforce them, and do what makes sense for their own communities. So there was not a state board created to monitor compliance, but the Minnesota Board of Pharmacy is going to be in charge of regulating the production and the sale of those products with cannabis. But it's not going to be testing or approving THC products before they go on the market. So we wanted to let you know about that as well. Also, Red River Valley Fair, that's kicking off today. We had our first news reporter, Jenna Scott, out there live for us this morning, and it looks like already, it's kind of getting busy. I'm sure a lot of the vendors are getting out there early to set up, because gates open at 11 o'clock, so 3 hours away now. And Jenna was showing us all the rides that you can go on. Of course, I'm sure many of you are already familiar with the fair, but then of course there's all of this food too. I was actually just looking on their website just to see the whole list of vendors when it comes to food, and I'm personally really excited about these steak nachos. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds really good. And then I think I saw something else too. There was like some gelato. There was something, gelato nachos, which is a little bit, I don't know how I feel about that one, guys, but maybe I'll give it a try if I'm out there. So, Red River Valley Fair kicks off again. Gates are opening at 11. If you want to know about ticket prices, let me find that for you. It's going to be $12 for anyone ages 12 or older, $6 for ages 6 to 11, and then kids 5 and under will get in for free. So that's all you need to know. If you want more information on the fair, you can just visit redrivervalleyfair.com. But also with that, if you do plan on going and you plan on having a few drinks, why not have some summertime fun, right? There is actually a way that you can get home safe or cheap without having to, call a friend or making sure that one of the people in your group is sober to drive. So this is something that we've reported on in previous years too, ND Sober Ride. It's partnering with Lyft and AAA to make sure that you can get some rides that are discounted. So if you order a Lyft, which is the rideshare app, then you can use the code VZ-RRVF-22, and you can get $10 off your Lyft ride, which is really neat. So that's going to be happening from July 8th, which is today, through the 17th. If you're interested in that offer, might as well take advantage of it, right? So we also know that ND Sober Ride does have a designated pickup location this year, which is going to be at the north gate of Lot E at the fair. Really neat. I really like that they have that program. Also, we know that Cass County deputies and the staff at Red River Valley Fair are teaming up to just make sure that this year's fair is really safe. We heard from Sheriff Jesse Johnner this morning on First News, who says that his staff has been working on this for months to get prepared. So they've gone over things like threat training, emergency weather prep, crowd management, and evacuations. So he is just saying that he wants to be extra cautious and be prepared for the worst just in case. But he does expect this year's fair to be safe. So wanted to let you know about that as well. We also had some breaking news out of Japan this morning. We learned that the country's longest serving prime minister, Shinzo Abe, is dead after he was shot in the middle of a campaign speech. We showed some really graphic video of that on First News, and it showed the moments leading up to it. And we know that there were 2 gunshots that were heard by witnesses who were at Abe's campaign speech in Nara. We do know Japanese police have also arrested a 41-year-old man originally on suspicion of attempted murder, but of course his charges are likely going to get upgraded now, so we'll let you know about that. Again, Abe was 67 years old. He was the former prime minister and also the longest serving prime minister until he stepped down in 2020. Sad news out of Japan there. And let's talk more on a national level of things while we are kind of in that area, because we found a really interesting study from the CDC outlining the number of emergency room visits for gun injuries. So it found that they're a lot more common in socioeconomically disadvantaged counties in the U.S. So that the CDC looked at those visits from counties in 10 states that participated in a new program and then divided up those counties based on 15 socio-demographic factors. So it found from 2018 to 2021, for every 100,000 ER visits, an average of 74 were for gun-related injuries. But then, of course, in the areas where poverty is a concern, the number was twice as high compared to places with lower poverty rates. So kind of an interesting study that I wanted to lay out there for you this morning. We also know WNBA star Brittney Griner. You might have already been seeing this all over your social media pages yesterday, but she is now facing up to a decade in prison in Russia after pleading guilty to drug charges. So she was first arrested back in February in Moscow when Russian police found cannabis in her luggage at the airport. And she was telling the court yesterday that she did do it, but she didn't intentionally mean to do that, meaning pack that cannabis or the vape cartridges in her luggage. So right now, of course, we know that the U.S. State Department is classifying her as being wrongfully detained, but of course we'll stay on top of this for you and let you know what comes out of that. Lastly, this one's an interesting one. So if you still send mail the old-fashioned way, that might cost you a little bit more, and that's because the USPS is raising its prices of their postage, and that's all going to be happening on Sunday. So it's going to cost you 60 cents to buy a first-class mail forever stamp, which is only just a slight change of about 2 cents per stamp. And then we also learned that the prices for domestic postcards and sending an international letter will also be going up. So wanted to give you a heads up for those of you who still like to send mail the old-fashioned way. I know sometimes I like to do that just to surprise my friends who live in a different state. So yeah, that's all we got for you today. Of course, we have Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, WDAY Xtra, InForum.com from 9 to 11. Dom, what you got on your show?
Pops is on today.
Okay. Oh, this is going to be a killer one. So Dom's dad is on today, and everyone loves when Dom's dad is on, and I can see why. I just got to meet him, I want to say a few weeks ago, and he seems like the coolest guy ever. So make sure you go join Dom and Dom's dad this morning, 9 to 11, WDAY Xtra. I heard it's a hit, so you might not want to miss this one. All right, and then, of course, right now, if you go on InForum.com/subscribe, you can get your first 3 months of unlimited access to everything we get access to here just for $2 a month. So you can go do that. Again, it's InForum.com/subscribe. All right, everybody, that's all I got for you today. We, of course, have First News during the weekend as well. I'm actually going to be filling in for our weekend morning reporter, Jenna Scott, who you also frequently see here on First News during the week as well. But I will be filling in for her tomorrow from 7 to 8:30, and then, of course, on Sunday from 7 to 8, so hope you can join me there. But, of course, we also have news tonight. Our 5 and 6 o'clock newscast will be live out at the Red River Valley Fair. So you will not want to miss it. You can always tune in from home, of course, so you can kind of catch that and stop by. So hope to see you there, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning from 7 to 8:30. Have a good one, guys. Bye.